Nick Sanchez, FightHype.com, here with legendary trainer Freddie Roach. How you doing, Freddie?
Everything's good.
Cool. I want to start off talking to you something that happened in boxing this past weekend, the Juan Diaz Paulie Malignaggi fight, and more in particular the 118 to 110 scorecard. How did you see that fight, and what do you think of that judge scorecard?
Yeah, the fight could have went either way. If you get a close round, I usually would give it to the aggressor, which I think Diaz was most of the time. But Paulie got his range late in the fight, and I thought he blew the last round though. So again, the fight probably could have went either way. But that one scorecard should be investigated. I think something's wrong when it's such a wide margin. And three people watching the same fight. Obviously, she liked something that maybe the others didn't. Maybe it's hometown in Texas. A lot of considerations, but going into a fight, you sign a contract, you get neutral officials, you protect your fighter. If you don't do that, it's your own fault.
Sure. Is there a state or should I say maybe a judge that you don't have to name any names that maybe you've didn't want in your fighter's fight to judge your fighter's fights?
Sometimes in title fights we get to get rid of one judge on each side, and I've never asked to replace a judge in any fight, but I have asked for different referees because I feel like sometimes when you have real fast, small fighters, you don't need a big referee in there that's slow. I think you need a fast, agile referee and stuff like that. So sometimes I've asked for different referees and so forth, just because I think the factor of the size of the opponents, a big referee is the greatest thing in the world with a big fight. Get the phone, Miguel. So, when you get two fast guys in there, and the other night we had an example when I had Jay Nady refereeing with Guillermo Concepcion, and I had no problem with the call. I think it was a fair call. I think Nady was a little out of position. In that 10-second warning they give you, I wish he was a little closer and got between the guys quicker, then it wouldn't have happened. But it's not his fault though. But I think a faster, smaller referee maybe could get in there quicker with the faster, smaller guys.
So overall, with that disqualification, you think it was?
The only complaint I had was that he said it was intentional, and I disagree because he doesn't know Guillermo Concepcion's character, and I do, and he's a nice guy. He's too nice, actually, sometimes. It's just not in his character to do something like that. He would never do something illegal. It was 100% accidental. He landed that last punch. The crowd yelled. The bell rang. He didn't hear it. Levino dropped his hands. He just instinctively teed off on him, and Levino did a great acting job. And the result's the result. I have no argument with that whatsoever. I'm looking forward to the rematch show, and Bob Arum tells me we'll get one by December.
Good. What's on the horizon for Amir Khan?
Amir Khan, I just got a call from his father yesterday. They did a deal with Warren. He's going to have the next fight. The opponents were going to be either Salida or Murray from the UK, and I said Salida would be a great fight for us. It's our mandatory anyway, so let's take care of the business there. But in the meantime, Salida signed to fight with somebody else, and so it looks like we're probably going to fight Murray in December.
Good.
In the UK.
Right on. Another thing on Marquez Mayweather. They're going to be They're going to be showing the fights in their fight in movie theaters. What's your take on that?
They've already given up on the pay-per-view audience. They know it's not going to sell. Someone's going to take a bath in that fight. The styles just don't match up. Styles make fights. People know styles. They're both by nature counter punchers. Marquez has changed his style somewhat to be more offensive, but still his best fight is a counter puncher. That's why he does so well with Pacquiao, because Manny's so aggressive and used to attack so much that his counter punching style was great for that. So when he doesn't have a guy that comes to him, he's not as effective. I hear Mayweather's not looking that great. I hear, the gun battle somewhere along the line. His car was abandoned. They say he wasn't involved. But the police did search his house, so they think there's some involvement, obviously. But it's just a little chaotic right now. And I like Mayweather, I like Marquez. I wish them both the best, and I hope the fight turns out really well for them. But I would definitely, I want the winner.
Good. Talking about Manny now, have you guys picked a spot for him to do his training yet?
No, I talked to my cons yesterday. I said, when are we going to train? He said, I haven't asked Manny yet. I said, you haven't asked Manny yet? I said, what do you mean you haven't asked Manny? He's busy making a movie. I said, what the hell, you're scared to ask Manny? These guys are petrified of Manny, and because they're just there for a payday and I'm pissed off about it. I have a camp set up in the mountains in Toluca, Mexico. I have an offer to go to Puerto Vallarta, and I have an offer to go to Cancun, and I have an offer to go to the Bahamas. And so, since we can't train in America for the first 5 weeks of the training camp, I now hear that Manny wants to train in the Philippines. I think it's a mistake. I think it's too many distractions for him. This is the toughest fight of his life. Cotto, a big 147-pounder, strong guy, beat Shane Mosley, a speed guy like Manny, nullified Shane's speed with his own speed. People tell me he's slow. I says, I disagree. It's a tough fight for us. I hope that Manny and his crew wake up and smell the coffee and get to work on picking a place so we can go to camp as soon as possible.
Now, if it was up to you, I mean, you just mentioned the spot in Toluca, Mexico. If it was up to you, is that the place that you want to go and do this training camp?
It's a training camp. It's business. It's all it is. It's why you're there. We don't need like vacation areas with tourists watching us and so forth. You know what? Training camp. It's a beautiful gym. We have a beautiful facility up there, owned by the government. It's well protected. They have a 5-star hotel right by it, 20 minutes from the gym. Everything's right there. I mean, they have hills. They have unbelievable hills. They go from 10,000 to 14,000 feet above sea level. I'm not a big altitude guy on altitude training, but I'm just seclusion and getting your mind on the fight is what I want. And I don't think we can do that in the Philippines.
You got anything? You're a Cuban fighter that was training here a little while ago. Tell us a little bit about
Well, Rigondeaux is, a talented kid. We don't speak each other's language yet. We're getting to know each other a little better in the midst. And we're starting to understand. He understands what I want. I understand what he wants. He's a very intelligent fighter. I learned some real good moves off this guy because he's very intelligent, and he's 475 fights. He's 2-time gold medalist, 2-time world champion, and he's 2-0 as a pro. In his next fight will be a 10-rounder, his third pro fight.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, I think he can beat Marquez or Vasquez today.
Wow.
I would take. Give me this fight and one more fight, I would take either one. I would put him in time to fight that fast.
With someone with that much amateur experience, do you worry that maybe they left a lot of their skills in the amateur ranks, like a la Mark Breland maybe?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, but the thing is, what I've seen so far, what I've seen in his fights, he's very fresh, he's 28 years old. Maybe a little bit old for a 22-pounder. Most 22-pounders mature a little bit earlier. But, he's had all the experience in the world, and as you see, he doesn't really fight like an amateur fighter. He fights more like a slick pro fighter. And the way he handles the sparring partners that I have in here, we had some decent young prospects, and he's just he's like a man and a boy. This guy knows how to fight. He is really dedicated, His goal is to win a world title. He left his country. He left his 7-year-old kid, who's a junior Olympic champion right now, to come to America to win a world title. I told him, I said, maybe after the fight, you win the world title, you can take me to Cuba. He said, you can go, but I'd be killed. And it's a bold movie he made, but he wants to be world champion. That's his goal. That's why he's here in Miami. That's why he chose to come out to the West Coast, because the Cubans in Miami just have maybe too easy and get into bad habits and so forth. Rigondeaux doesn't smoke, drink, no bad habits. He's a dedicated kid. He's a comedian. He's a rapper. He's a chef. He cooked me breakfast this morning. So he's a really nice kid. Again, we don't communicate really well, but I have a couple of translators that help out. And the sign language in boxing of what I want, what he wants is very there. But he's one of the most calmest fighters I've ever seen. He reminds me of a veteran like James Toney. He's just very, very calm, but when he explodes on you, it's over.
One more thing.
I think you should come watch him box tomorrow, just to get an idea of it.
Okay, he's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow he'll spar at 12:30.
12:30. Okay. One more thing. Tito Ortiz has been coming in here to work with you a little bit. How's he looking? And as far as his boxing skills, what do you think?
His hands are getting better. He's more fluent. He's getting better and better all the time. He's a good athlete. He has no quit in him. I think I made him throw up again yesterday. I think the third time he's thrown up after his workout. But I push him hard, and he won't quit. He sucks it up and fights back, and I like that. And the thing is, he's not doing this to become a boxer though. He just wants to improve with his hands. But his main sport is wrestling, and he'll shoot on me when he gets me in position. He'll shoot as quickly as possible, where Andre Arlovski would like to stand up a little bit more. So his number one game is the ground, of course, and but his punches, he's sitting down, he's rotating, his back is no problem. He's had that surgery and he feels 100% better. And we went 12 rounds in the mitts yesterday, straight through, hard work. We worked his ass off. I like people like that.
One other MMA guy, Gegard Mousasi, he's been training in here, and on an interview he said ultimately he wants to box professionally. How's his skills?
Mousasi is a Japanese boy.
Armenian,
yeah. I've only worked with him a couple times, and he's a talented guy and so forth, but he needs some more experience, of course, and as most of them do. Just the distance of the game, because that's the biggest issue between MMA and boxing is distance. Because with the leg involvement, you need to have a little more room and so forth. I'm getting better at the MMA guys. I don't have them go under punches too much anymore, because it's really not relevant in this sport. Because if you start going under punches, you're gonna run into a knee. And so Tito taught me that. So he should. I ask questions, and I try to get as much knowledge as I can to every sport that I'm interested in. And again, Anderson Silva wants to fight Roy Jones, of course, and he's after he beat Rashad, I realized when he was in here, he's the type of guy in the gym, he doesn't go, he's probably at 40%. He's just playing around a little bit.
And when he beat Forrest Griffin his last UFC, he toyed with him at 205.
You see the distance? Yeah. He understands distance. Mm-hmm. He even took one shot just to get two back. It was a textbook. It was beautiful to watch.
Yes, it was. Well, thank you very much, Freddie, as usual.